I encourage you to sit till the end of the video because on the way I am going to be sharing some very important tips that is going to take the video from a mediocre level to the highest level. Let's get straight to work. Straight away, let's check on our camera to make sure we have the angle that we want to use. This is it. As you can see, it's very dark. And if you look at where he is sitting, you would realize that there are certain things in the background, and I just intentionally left them there so that just to add some texture to the background. At this moment, the sun is just passing through the windows and is creating some level of textures in the background over there, and you have some mats and some other stuff in the background as well. So because we are using a 50mm lens on this particular camera, we will have the ability to be able to blur the background. So let's go ahead straight away and start setting up the lights. So the first light we are going to be setting up is called the key light. The key light is your primary source or your main source of light. Generally, this should be a little bit of a brighter source, and like I said, we already have a diffusion panel over here, and furthermore, not just the diffusion panel, we've also added just this grid here. The purpose of the grid here is to cut the light so that we don't have a lot of light spilling on the background. So let's do this. Let's get this ready. All right, we put it here and let's plug this. All right, so we already have our key light in place. As you can see, like I said, this is going to be our main source of light, and it's pretty much very bright. So let's check on the camera just to be sure that the angle we've chosen is okay. Probably in sometimes you might have the light in shot. Yes, the light is in shot, so let's reframe a little. All right. Okay, so I think we can bring down our camera height, then we move back just a little. Let's now put in our fill light. So now if you look very closely to the other side of his face, if you look very closely, this side of his face, it's kind of a little bit dark. So we need another light source that is going to fill in the shadows here, so that we still need the shadows. However, we need to soften the shadows a little bit, and that is why we have a softbox on this particular light again, and we are going to be introducing this into the scene to be able to increase the intensity in the shadows a little bit so that the face isn't too dark. Because this light is supposed to fill in the shadows, we now call it the fill light. So let's bring in the fill light, then we fill in the shadows. All right, so let's do this. Now guys, another very great hack here is that with this particular light that we are using, it doesn't have dimmers. It means that you can reduce the brightness or you can increase the brightness. So quickly, what I've done is, you can come closer and see inside this. So quickly, what I've done here is, if you can see, so right inside here is supposed to take 4 bulbs. So what I did was to quickly remove some of the bulbs, and so we are now with just 2 bulbs. That way it reduces the intensity for us. In this scenario, I've added some of the grid here again to be able to cut off the lights so that it doesn't spill too much onto the background. So let's have this here. Let's fire it up and see how it looks. All right, so this is our fill light. And let's check it on the camera to be sure it's out of the shot. All right. Yes, so this is our fill light. As you can see, the whole thing is already looking very nice. So now guys, let's go ahead and now add another light. That is our third and final light, which is the backlight. Now the backlight is supposed to serve as a separation between him and the background. Now if you look very closely, some of the colors on his shirt can definitely be found in the background. So we use another light that is going to draw a rim around his shoulders and the back of his head so that we can have a clear separation. So I have another light here that we are going to use to do that. Now with this one, we don't have particularly a diffusion on, but depending on the kind of lights with this, with this particular light that we are using, it comes along with a lot of light gel. So if you want the light to look a little bit blue, you can add this. This is kind of like a diffusion. It acts just like what we have here. There's the big ones. And we also have the orange color if you want to make the light orange. So in this case, we just want to diffuse it just a little. So let's leave this behind. And we add the diffuser just to this light. All right, let's reduce the height. And now let's find a way to place it. All right, so go up a little, point it down. The other thing we can do here is we are going to pull back this particular table so that we can put a light on it. That is what we call practical light. Any particular light that is particularly visible in the background or in front or just within the frame of the video, we call them practical lights. So guys, practical lights, it's the way to go if you want to take this whole lightning to the next level. So let's position this well and get a practical light so that it can serve as a motivational light. So in that case, we will have to refocus very well. Then we put a practical light on the table back here. So let's get a lamp. So before we bring in our practical, let's change our angle to be sure of our angle now before we think of bringing in our practical light. So a little bit to this side. Let's go straight ahead and we include our practical light within the scene and we see how the whole thing goes. So let's put this practical light on. Yes. Yeah. Alright guys, it's now time for that secret ingredient that is going to spice up and take this whole thing to the next level. We have our practical light here, so now let's turn the practical light on. Let's turn it on. Yes, then let's reduce a little bit of the intensity of this. Alright, so let's check it out on the screen and see how this looks. Alright guys, so this is the shot that we have here. The secret ingredient that we've added to the scene right now has taken the whole thing to the next level. If you look very closely, the practical light we have in the background, which is on at the moment, is on the same lane or is on the same line as our backlight. And so the rim light around him seems like the light is coming from the lamp that we have in the background. And if you look very closely at Hollywood films or any other film, you are going to see the streak. The truth is that particular lamp doesn't have the power to be able to shine on him as it is right now. But because we have it just on the same lane and we have the backlight just around the same area, it looks like it's that particular lamp that is lightening our subject. So you are just using practical lights in the scene to cheat the intelligence of your audience. So this is how the image looks, guys. Maybe just before we end today's episode, let me quickly see if I can just add some 1 or 2 things to the background just to spice it up. Then we can call it a day with this. So let me quickly look around the room and see if I can get some 1 or 2 things. Then we put it on the right hand side of the subject, since that is where we are filming. Then we can just get him to say some 1 or 2 lines at the end of the episode. Then we call this over. So let me see if I can get something simple there. Alright, so we've gone ahead and we've added certain things just to the background to kind of spice it up a little. Like I said, this is just a sofa lying in the room. We just turned it upside down so that we can have it in the frame. And as you can see, we are getting some lights from our practical lights in the background. And so guys, if you pay very close attention from now onwards, that you know this trick. If you watch Hollywood films, if you watch any professional or high budget film, you would always find that at every moment in time, they don't just light out of the vacuum. So for example, if you had a window here that the sun was coming through and it wasn't even hitting him very well, we could take or we could use that as a yardstick to set up a light from that particular angle that hits our subject. So it's just a way of cheating your audience into believing that it's the sun or is that particular light that is coming from that source that is hitting the person. And that is a way to take your lightening to the next level. When you do this, your lightening becomes so much invisible, and your characters, or let's say your audience, don't even realize that you are using artificial lights in the scene. So that is why more often than not, you see a particular video that you think this is so easy, then you also point your camera and you realize that you are not able to get the same kind of image in your room. Probably your room is so dark. It's because they've been able to use the natural sources of light in the scene to be able to light their scene. So when you look at it, it's very hard to tell that they are using lights in that particular scene. So as you can see right now, our shot is ready for consumption, and this is ready to go. And so if this was an interview, I'll have him, since I've framed to the right, I'll have him looking at the interviewer just slightly around the camera area and just say some 1 or 2 lines, or he starts to talk. So yes, let's have a short conversation. Probably just tell us your name and what you do and whatever. Just say something. All right, so let's go in 3, 2, 1, action.
Yeah, my name is Abdallah Waris. From the northern part of Ghana, Savannah region to be specific. And I love photography and I love cinematography.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. So that is it for today's episode. Again, this episode, as always, is supported by Paid Ghana. And please, guys, if you are new to the channel, kindly click on the subscribe button and remember to click on the notification icon so that when we release a new video on this platform, you would certainly be notified. You can also follow me on Instagram at OBL_Junior. You can DM me your questions if you have any further questions. And again, on YouTube here, if you have any further questions, kindly leave them in the comment section below and I will personally respond to your messages. Like we do it on this channel always. Until next time, guys, keep practicing filmmaking. Peace out.